Hey everyone, Corey here, coming in to do a little reading for this weekend energy, as this is now July the 4th. You can catch my whole July monthly video. That's also available on YouTube. You can go check that out as well. Some of the prediction stuff that was in there, we've already seen unfolding, which just speaks to the volume of how heavy it is, as July is a big roller coaster month. And so I was speaking about some, plot and being foiled plans. And so there was actually a bomb threat in Canada at 6 of the airports. And it shut down a lot of flights. It kind of until it was finally cleared. But it could have been worse, right? But it wasn't. It was better. I would say there's a lot of space for divine intervention and for things to turn out way better than we expect, or way better than what could go wrong could turn out to go very right. It's like there's a lot of divine intervention that is around us right now that is influencing the energy as well. So I always say it's like the angels have hit the earth and they're running in trying to stop all of these things that are taking place around us. And so we're seeing a lot of it happen. Now I'm looking into cameras. I'm recording for my YouTube and for Facebook, and just for downloading, for uploading them. It was just easier to use my phone for one and Zoom for the other. And so if I'm looking wonky in one or the other, so this weekend's energy and where we are in this weekend's energy is really speaking to us about perceptions, about paying attention. It is also, I did do a written energy update for today as well. And in that energy update, it does speak about the retrograde that is happening as Neptune is in retrograde in Aries energy. And so our desires, our secret desires versus our versus the dream, not our dream so much, but the dream, the soul's dream. So the secret desires really ties into the ego, and then the dream ties into the essence of the soul and what the soul's desire was for coming here and why we're here and what our divine destiny truly is. And when we stop chasing so much the programming, the conditioning of our mind into chasing our lives and chasing what we think we should be doing, we realize there's a lot of chatter going on. So there's a lot of clearing of the chaos and removing and releasing the drama from our own stories to free ourselves. And the more that we can release the drama from our own stories, or from the drama that we've put in around even other people in our stories, the freer that we actually get. Now I'm trying to reach my cards. They're actually behind the computer. I'm like, whoops, I forgot to move them out. So I'm trying to get the card. Okay. So I'm going to start with my Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, and we're going to choose a card. And the card actually went flying on the floor. And so I'm going to leave the card out. I just am. I've seen some videos lately, like mimicking, making fun of people for like the way they shuffle, and shuffling has to be done a certain way, a specific way. Man, there's just so much stuff. Trust your process. Trust your process. If all the cards fall on the floor, you know all these messages are not for you. Or actually, maybe they are. Maybe it's the whole freaking deck. Maybe it is time to really take the deep dive and dive deep into self-discovery. So the card that came out was the Guardians, and this is Willow. And beautiful Willow is in the crone energy. So she is in that sense of wisdom versus knowledge. And not that knowledge is a bad thing. Knowledge is a great thing, and we need knowledge if we didn't have knowledge. But knowledge with discernment is something that we often neglect to pay attention to. Really, truly asking where the knowledge comes from, where we're getting the knowledge. Wisdom is recognizing that there's many forms of knowledge. There's many stories. There's many opinions. There's many views. And so wisdom is that which doesn't need validation or proof, but it is that which also that which also comes with an openness to perspectives, to views. The guardians and our guardians and the guardians of us, they're always listening to us chatter. They're listening to us talking about the things we want, don't want, and how we are such a paradox to our own self and to our own story, and how we say, you know what, I don't want anyone to control me. I don't want anyone to control me. I want to be in control of my life, but tell me what to do. Right? I don't want to take anyone's advice, but what do you think will happen if I do this? And we have so many areas of our lives of where those paradoxes exist. The guardians are sitting back, kind of rolling their eyes at us. And so, it's allowing us to appear as if we already got it all figured out and we already know it. And so that we will take the steps and the actions forward and at least try in life. Because if we're always sitting back and we're not trying and thinking we know, thinking we got all the answers, thinking we got it all figured out, right? It's that we need to have that ability to think that, to have a sense of sometimes the courage to just go do things. Whereas the guardians are sitting back waiting for us to kind of have that moment of realizing, oh shit, I never thought about that. Or I didn't put that factor into consideration. Or, oh, I didn't look at that perspective. Oh shit, I totally forgot about this idea or this thought. Oh, I forgot. Right. And so wisdom says we're going to forget a lot of things. We're going to take action towards things that are within our desires, but is it aligned to my soul's dream? Is it really truly the truth? Is it the truth is it the truth that is providing me with the wisdom I now need to move forward? And so this beautiful card is that which keeps blossoming. That, no matter how many times we have maybe not fully succeeded, or that we have stopped following our paths, our directions, stopped doing the things that we love, is that the opportunities are still there. And this weekend energy does provide that sense of remembering that we, like the cherry blossoms, apple blossoms, like all things that bloom, that we too have the opportunity to bloom again. But instead of having to desire to bloom as something we're not and hope for fruits of the labor that is not what we are, is we begin to want to blossom and bloom from the truest expression of who we are. So that the fruits of the labor are everything that aligns to who we truly are. They're for me. They're for you. It's what provides the life that feels right and happiest and more complete and more satisfying. So, we take, for example, if there was a seed planted, and the seed knows it's an apple tree, and then the apple tree grows and the apple tree begins to look around, and it blossoms, it blooms, it gets all this fragrance, and it produces apples, and it gets apples. But then it looks around, and over on the corner it sees a orange tree, and the orange tree has big juicy oranges. And then the apple tree looks at the oranges and goes, oh, I really hope next time I blossom, I become an orange. I'm going to try my best now to be an orange. I want to be an orange. I'm going to be an orange. But it becomes an apple again. And so there's this dissatisfaction, this unhappiness, because every time it blooms and every time there's something that ignites joy or brings about the fruits of the labor into life, it turns out to be the same. And it turns out you're the same person, right? The same version keeps appearing. And it's that thought of looking over at the oranges and just finally going, well, why would I want to be an orange tree when I'm an apple tree? Why would I want to be something that I'm not when I can really truly live my best life as who I am? And so the secret desires versus the dreams brings us to the whole July's energy of healing. And of course, the guardians is going to protect us through anything. They're going to support us through anything. We are supported and loved no matter how many times we trip, we fall, no matter how many times we put on the mask, no matter how many times we pretend, no matter how many times we try to fake it until we make it, no matter how many times we try to do those things, we are loved and we are supported through it all. And that part of who we are, that part of ourselves is a greater wisdom that knows that someday we're going to move into a radical self-acceptance, possibly. And if not, we're always going to live in our own little distorted views and keep creating a lack of or a not enough story that keeps flowing through. It's like, I have to keep trying because I'm just not enough. If we can just look at who and what we are, we can see the wisdom through the knowledge that keeps telling us that we're not enough, or that we have to keep trying to perfect something else within us, or we keep trying to be an orange tree instead of an apple tree. We keep trying to produce apples, apples instead of oranges, vice versa, whichever way that is. And so we keep trying to produce a life that is not aligned to what our soul's dream, our soul's destiny is that we will always live in the dissatisfaction. And we're being invited to really look at those stories and to see the sense of satisfaction in what we have accomplished, in what we have done thus far in life. Now, this also brings us into this sense of how this helps us to grow, is that it brings us closer to what my message from Archangel Gabriel is that we came here to sign the agreement with peace. And so it allows us to be able to make peace. And this is where we move into being able to make peace. When we make peace with who and what we are, is the unimaginable can transpire in our lives. Is that we then moving beyond just trying to find comfort, and we move through transformation. The ego's desire to get us to comfort versus transformation is that if we allow ourselves to expand from who we truly are, is that life truly expands in all areas. It opens up, becomes the unimaginable, the unthinkable, expecting better than ever before. So even when I see the predictions of what could go wrong, I'm like, but something could come in or out of everything that makes us better than before. There's an opportunity to be the best version of self, to be the best version that life can give us, the best opportunities, the best moments. For me, what's best for me or for you might not be best for somebody else. What's best for you might not be best for me. And when we can really truly stay in our own light and stay in our own truth, and really truly strengthening that curiosity around the dream versus my desperate desires or my secret desires, is that we discover that the dream and the dream life is meant so that we live in a sense of being at peace, a sense of being content. And so the cards that came out with this is the mystical dreamer, Marlena, and there's a fine line, right? There's always this fine line. And there's to be rooted in our stories, to be rooted in those secret desires versus to detach from that energy and move into becoming one with the mystic, becoming mystified by the possibility of the invisible, by the possibility of the unseen, by the possibility of something more magical. So it's like, if we see the beautiful fish below the sea, well, those beautiful fish can also be in the skies as well. So like the whales in the sea versus the whales in the sky, they may not look the same, and you may have to draw it out in the mapping of the stars to be able to see, but to know that there is a whale in the sky, and also to know that there is a whale in the water, is that you will have less desire to argue that truth with somebody else. It may look different, it may appear different, it may be, it may make you appear to be weird, odd, different, but there's another truth. There is more to the story. And so that sense of knowing there is just something extra, something more, this weekend's energy is here to mystify us. It is here to open us. It's here to invite us in to really let go of wishing for something else and embracing what we are. Instead of wishing for what somebody else has or who somebody else is and wishing you could have it, is to be really, truly, you can admire another, but to be very full of gratitude and to be grateful for who you are. Because when you can really, truly be grateful for who you are and who you are on a soul level, is that begins to, it begins to, you know, spark some sense of satisfaction, some sense of knowing. It brings us into a greater sense of relationship to the heart versus the mind. And so the cosmic beauty Zoran is speaking to us about the heart of the matter. And what is the heart of the matter? And the heart of the matter truly is that, you know, we want to be seen, we want to be valued, we want to be appreciated. But if you want that from everyone else, but yet you are not providing it from yourself, why is there such high expectations on everyone else to provide to you what you are unwilling to provide for yourself? And so it's inviting you to really, truly step into that greater knowing, that greater wisdom. It's like, oh, so you want to be valued, you want to be seen by you want to be seen, you want to be appreciated, you want to be all that, but yet you're still telling yourself you're not enough. Interesting. So what we want from another is something we have to provide for ourselves. Now, the card that comes up with this to validate all of this is coming from Spirit, is the Seraphant of Pain. And the Seraphant of Pain is Jules. And Jules is inviting us to give over, to open up our hearts and let seep out the infections of our wounds. Let seep out and not seep onto another, not to bleed our hurts and onto another and hurt another to sense of wanting to destroy anyone else or to destroy each other, but to open up and let light in, let it breathe in, so that the unresolved, the unhealed within now receives the light and the love that it needs so that it can fully heal. So we're not walking around with unhealed wounds, and now you can walk with a scar. We'll always have the scars. We'll always have the memories. We'll always have those things, but it's that which keeps festering, that which keeps becoming the infection of our minds, that which keeps becoming the knowledge that we put such faith in, that we believe in, because there's all this proof that reveals to you that, oh, you haven't succeeded, or you're not enough, or, you know, or, oh, you should be ashamed of that, or you should be labeling people this way. And because somebody's done this in their lives, then they're not a good person, but yet they've done all kinds of other good things. It is so easy to validate that knowledge with a hardcore truth. And this Seraphant of Pain is really inviting us right now from the place of the crone energy, is to hand it over, to open up and to let it out. And hand it over means let us in, to let the guides in, to let the angels in, to let the light in. To hand it over means to let it in, right? To let light in, to let wisdom in, to allow yourself to be filled with the wisdom of the divine, of the angelic realm, of the celestial realm, of the mystical realm. There's so much mystical, magical energy that is here, that really truly can allow us to live in awe and wonder of who we are. If you could see how magical, how wonderful, and how mysterious you are within, and how there is so much to be developed and discovered about you and about who you are, and so much to be appreciated and so much to be valued, is that you will begin to see you the way that you truly need to see you, to see that truth. And those guardians, they're going to support us regardless. They're going to stand by us regardless. No matter how much we fall, how much we collapse, how much we get caught on the wrong side of the story, or it's that the love is still there for us. The support is still there for us. And we in return are being asked to love ourselves enough so that we can release the hurt. We can let go of those things that leave us wishing for always living in those secret desires of the ego, seeking out the comfort or the familiarity, and moving into the unknown, moving into this powerful place of where anything can unfold and anything can happen. But as I'll always say, you can't open the doors to your destiny if you're wearing a mask when you get to the door. Because if you are the only one that can open the door, if you're not yourself, the doors will never open. You'll believe them to be doors that are closed. You'll believe it to be not for you. You'll believe all of those things, and only because it's not you, the truest you, standing at the door looking to get in. You'll always get sent back. Too often we get sent back and said, let's try this again. Let's clean this up. Let's clean up this energy. Let's clean up this attitude. Let's clean up this fear story. Let's clean and clear this and try again. And come back to your door again. Because that future, that dream is not to be tainted, tarnished, or to be controlled or disrupted or to be destroyed, to be sabotaged by the versions of self that thinks it knows better than the soul. And so it just says, you know what? No, we know better than to let you in. We see you through here, and we see your intention. We see your motives. We see your plan. We see what you're trying to do. We see who you're trying to be. And it's not aligning. So back you go again, and let's try this again. And so here we are again at those power points and at the powerful position of this portal energy that's really saying, okay, here is the power of your sun. Here is the power of your true spiritual sun, the true spiritual essence of what is involved in using the power of your wheel of intentions, of motive, to move you in the right direction. And so it really truly exposes the shadow aspect, and just says, the only reason why the shadow is so frustrated is because it's very tired of having to keep being and showing up the same way as before. So if you would like to know more, if you would like to take a soul revival journey, past life healing journey, if you would like to do a journey with me, I am offering a 4-week course on unshaming ourselves, inviting in and learning to live from the pieces of ourselves that we hid away so long ago, and really truly unshaming, living without the guilt of being self, or feeling guilty for being self, or feeling the sense of still shaming ourselves out of those character traits, the truest identity of self, and bringing it into the light. We're going to be working with the power of in your sign of your Lilith of where Lilith sits in your astrology chart. And so that's the dark moon in Lilith energy. And so we're going to be exploring that. We're going to be looking back and just traveling through meditative states. We're going to be traveling back and going to the places where you had left a piece of your light, where your light may have been taken, where you felt like your light was taken, where you just kind of were so disheartened, so betrayed, so let down, and just finding that piece of yourself and saying, that's my light, and I'm bringing my light back, and I'll give you your light, here's yours, but here's mine. You have your light, you grow, evolve on your light, and I'm going to shine in my light. And so this little light of mine, right, this is your light. This is your truth. This is your time to truly embody what it means to move beyond the ego desire for comfort versus the soul's desire for the dream. And it doesn't mean it gets pretty. It don't mean it gets easy. It means it gets worth it. And so, yeah, I'm offering a Sunday soul revival, which is the Everyday Goddess Soul Revival courses that I offer on occasion. And so it's 4 Sundays coming up in July, in 2 weeks, a week, next Sunday, I believe it is, that we're starting this journey. And if you would like to join me, then go check out the MTE Academy. And you can see it all on my website. Go CorrieThorne.Cameron.com. On Facebook, you can go directly to the events, and in the events, you'll see that one. You'll see it right there. So for all of you beautiful women who are out there, who are tired of shaming yourselves the way that you didn't want to be shamed, and really take the journey to unshaming, untethering yourself from those stories of the past, and reigniting your light within so that you walk as your truth, as the truest version of you and the happiest version of yourself. I send you so much love. Have a beautiful weekend, and I hope to see you all soon. Much love. Check out July's energy update also.